Thanks for being here on this beautiful Sunday morning. And I hope you all are excited for today's session. So let's start. So today's topic is the foundation of modern cyber defense. So do you have any idea about what we are talking in this session? The cyber defense, anyone? Okay. Sorry, that we will see in the PPT. So let's start with my little introduction. So my name is Lokesh Singh Rajawat, and I'm a senior software engineer at miniOrange. And so let's begin the today's session, the foundation of modern cyber defense. A topic that's not just limited to cyber professionals or cyber thinkers. It's more kind of to every individual who is interacting with the technology in day-to-day life. And when I say mindset, you can say to build the defensive strategies, you should have a hacker mindset. With the better hacker mindset, you can prepare better strategies, better defense strategies. So you should think like a hacker. How a hacker thinks. Okay. So let's start the today's agenda with the hacker mindset. So today's agenda is, so we should think how hackers think, what is the hacker mindset and their motivation, and building strategies to defend against hackers. Then we will move towards the NIST cybersecurity framework, a framework that is for modern cyber defense. Then we will move to the CSF core and its 6 pillars. I'll explain them all. And the tools and technologies that you can use to prevent the attacks or threats. Then some key takeaways. And then we will, throughout the session, we will employ some few stupid memes on the way, right? What is hacker motivation? So various hackers have a different motivation. So some have the financial motivation. A hacker with a financial motivation can hack systems and can theft the data, the financial data, and something like that. And they can demand finance, or they can demand the money in exchange of the data. The next is the espionage. The espionage is a kind of theft where, or this kind of attack. So where hacker thinks spying some information. So if I can say in a better way, it's kind of gathering information about the government or a business, take the advantage of being ahead. When I say being ahead, it can be political advantage or a competitive advantage they can have. They can know about the electoral results. They can get the what's coming in the business, so they can invest in stock market kind of things. So this is kind of espionage attack. And the motivation behind the revenge. So some hackers are like, I just want to attack and I just want to take the revenge. Something bad happened to me and I want to take the revenge. So I have to attack. So those mindsets also come and they can harm your system, they can harm your business. For example, let's say a former employee of a company attacked his own organization for some revenge. So those kind of things can happen in the revenge. And then in the data theft and destruction, so some hackers are just like cool hackers. They just want to steal or they just want to destroy. There's no motivation, they don't want money, they're just cool, being cool in themselves. So with this motivation, what tools and tactics they use? So we will explore the various tools and tactics that they use to achieve these motivations. So first is the social engineering. So social engineering, what they do, they generally share or they generally tempt the user to share some their confidential data or to perform some actions. And by sharing the phishing link or the email link there, so that they can perform some actions, or they can just say, you have win 1,000 rupees or you have win lakhs of rupees. Click on this link, get the money. So kind of this kind of social engineering where they will invoke you, they will tempt you that, okay, you are getting something or you are losing something. Or you can say that this is the today's, I can say sales. If I can say there is a sale going on, the last year-end sale. So they can say, click on this link to get this iPhone at 50,000 rupees or something like that. So this kind of attacks or this kind of tools they use in the social engineering. The second is exploiting vulnerabilities. So when I say exploiting vulnerabilities, so today everyone is in the cloud, and you are having some of the vulnerabilities in your product. It can be in your software, it can be in your hardware, or it can be like a weakening configuration of your networks. So if you have misconfigured something, or if you have not patched accordingly the system upgrades, then the attacker can attack your vulnerabilities that you have in the products. So it can be your application, so it can be your hardware or whatever you are using. So they can exploit the vulnerability and can steal the data. Then there is a ransomware attack. In the ransomware attack, it's more kind of if an hacker is inserting or injecting the malicious files in your system, and they will encrypt the data. They will encrypt this data and make it unavailable to you, and they will ask for money, or they will charge for money to unlock it. So this may harm your business, or this may impact your business, that they have encrypted the database or whatever the data is using, your financial data, and then it is like deadlock. You have to give them money to those so that they can decrypt, and then you can use your own data. So with this, there is a fourth one. There is a supply chain attack. So it's not always your fault that you have left some beacon endpoints or something like that. So let's say if I'm using a third-party service, so if I'm having a Java project, I'm using the Maven libraries of other systems, other providers who have given to me. So those kind of, if let's say that service is vulnerable, if you have heard about the Log4j, right? It's not your fault, but someone have made mistake, so you have to suffer. The same way is the CrowdStrike. If you have heard about the CrowdStrike attack, right? So it's not your mistake. You have just you implemented that, and because that are vulnerable, your whole business is down. So this is some tools and tactics that they know. Okay, so let's say if you have told on your website that we are using this and we are using this tools, we are engaging here, so they can use those kind of information to attack yourself. So these are some tools and techniques that the hacker use. And so we have seen the motivation, and we have seen the tools and techniques. So let's build some strategy, how we can secure ourselves. So we have seen how hackers operate, but how do we step ahead of them? So first we need to identify the assets that what are in the organization. So when I say assets, it can be your device, it can be your network, it can be your data, it can be your application, or it can be your user. So all these kind of assets you need to know. You need to first identify all those assets, what you need to be protect. So once you have done the identification, then you have to check the threats. Okay, so I have these kind of assets, and these threats are aligned to these assets. So let's say, is it a phishing attack, or is this a ransomware that can encrypt my device or something, data, something like that, or you can have some misconfigurations of admin. So these kind of threats you have to understand. Then you need to check your vulnerabilities. So as I explained, vulnerabilities are nothing just an unpatched securities or some of the misconfiguration by the admins. So you can check the vulnerabilities that you are using, or the third-party tools that being engaged with your product. So you have to scan those all vulnerabilities. So if you have noticed one thing that is common across all the three is the risk. So risk in the identity, when I say it's assets, right? So risk in the threats and risk in the vulnerabilities. So you have at the core, you need to, what you need to secure is your risk. You need to identify your risk and you have to secure it. How? What to do now? Anyone? Like we have identified the assets and we have checked the vulnerabilities. We have identified the threats. What to do?
That's it. Fix it. That's it.
Okay. Anyone? A good one.
You get it.
Secure all things. Can we? No. So we can't secure everything at our first place, because we are here and we are saying that, okay, secure me everything. You can't. You have to have some of the plans you have to prioritize some things, and then you can have security. So we have to secure most important things. So you have to secure the most important things or the things that are most at risk. So you have been identified the risk, right? Now you have to prioritize, and you have to follow some like kind of things, and then you have to secure the most important vulnerabilities, the most important threats that you have in your assets. Can we do it like implementing the tools and technologies that are available over the internet? So yes, but how? Is there some plan? Because we can't go ad hoc defense. Ad hoc defense means kind of whenever I will have an attack, I'll defend this. Okay, whenever I'll come across this, I'll do this kind of steps. Or let's do this because I have heard somewhere. No, it's not for you. So it's kind of you have to analyze through all of your assets. You have identified the risk. Now you need some structure or you need some framework, just like a book rule or what can say. So you can follow the rules and see what is kind of your security or what defense you actually required in your organization. So there is a framework called NIST CSF 2.0. It's a cybersecurity framework. It's basically a guidelines, and it's to defend against evolving threats. So when I say guidelines, so it's not a compliance. It's more kind of a framework. So there's a difference between the framework and the compliance. Compliance is the mandatory thing or is the compulsory thing that you have to do. Because if you break the compliance, you have to suffer. But in the framework, it's voluntary. You can do, you cannot do. So while reading a framework, you should start with the framework and then switch to compliances that you can achieve. So while following the NIST CSF framework, if you cover all of them, then you are compliant for HIPAA, SOC2 or whatever available in the compliances. So yeah, we have seen the structure. So NIST. So NIST is National Institute of Standards and Technology. So NIST is an organization which publishes hundreds of security frameworks across the globe, and they invite all of the cyber professionals from the globe and discuss and have some plan, and then they create a framework and they release. So the CSF is one amongst them, and which was released in 2014, and it got revised in 2018 with the version 1.1, and in the last year it got revised once again with the version 2.2. So within this session, we will covering the CSF 2.2, the latest framework, and the tools and technologies that we can use in this framework. So as I explained, this is nothing just a set of guidelines and practices that you need to follow. It is made such a flexible or adaptable that it fits for all kind of organization and all kind of organization, all set of organization, all sizes of organization and industries. So it is made flexible. So this is not restrictive to a particular domain of expertise or particular domain, let's say hospitality management or a security management, or I can say industries or specific industries. So it's more kind of general framework. So let's explore the framework. What is it? So there are 6 pillars of the framework. The first is the governance. Second is identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So you can see the center governance. It is being introduced last year only. Before the last year, it was only 5 pillars there. So governance is introduced recently. So let's first look at the governance function. So what is governance function? It is more kind of, I can say, you need to know about your organization. You need to have an organization context. What is the mission of your organization? What your organization want to achieve? And what are the goals of your organization? Then according to the organization context, you should look at the, I can say, roles and responsibilities of what person is doing what and who is responsible for what. And you should look at the risks. So you should have a tolerance of risk. So you need to identify that what are the assets in your organization and what risks can you adhere or what not. So the first thing is organization context. Second is the tolerance of risk. Third is according to the risk you have identified, you can create multiple roles. Okay, this person is looking for this is responsible for this category and this role. Then according to the roles, you can create policies. So this is how the governance is working. Governance is more kind of, you can say, a law, or when we heard about government, right? It's more kind of overview that you have to do. And you can have one more thing here, that is a supply chain management. So supply chain management is also a governance part. What is supply chain management? So supply chain management is what tools you need to include in your project. So let's say I'm building a product, and I need, because not every product is a single build from scratch. It has used some utilities from other libraries as well. So you that part also covers under the governance, that you understand. Okay, this company is good. Their Gartner review is good. Their Capterra review is good. Their G20 review is good. Okay, let's bring this product into our organization. So that part is also covered in the governance only. So we have seen the strategy and the policies, oversight, and supply chain here. Second thing is the identify. Once you have done the governance is done by the CISO levels or C levels of the company. So, and next is the identify. So we need to identify all the assets that are in the organization. As I explained earlier, the assets are nothing. It's just a device, network, data, application, users in your organization. So once you have identified the risk against them, you have to list down them, and you have to make a better plan. And according to that, you can implement encryption, multi-factor authentication, or cryptography to encrypt them and encrypt the data in your organization, so that you can have something like that. Then you have the protect function. In the protect, once you have identified and listed all the assets, now you need to protect. You need to build strategies to defend them, and you can implement the access management. So access management is like you have like, let's say you have an organization of 500 employees, and not every employee has an access of every application or every I can say endpoint. So you need to better strategize. You need to have a better access management. You have to have authorization in part. You have to have authentication in part. So those kind of things you can implement in the protection. So once you have identified what needs to be protected, but let's say you have protected as well, but some things might left, because you can't, you don't know what next can be done, or what next can be happen with you. So you need to have some monitoring kind of thing. So when I say monitoring, it's the fourth pillar, that is detect. So monitoring, you have the event analysis, what is happening in your logs, or what I can say, if let's say any request is coming to your organization application, then you can check, okay, what is this user is coming, what this IP address is doing here, and you can have some monitoring that. So while implementing the monitoring, you can know, okay, who is coming to your organization. But still, you are not here to defend them. You are just analyzing them. So there's another pillar that is called response. In response, you will respond to those incidents, or respond to those defects that is being done in the detection part you have analyzed. So let's say 100 of requests is coming to my application. I've analyzed that 30% or 20% are malicious. So what I need to take some actions. I need to block those IPs. I need to block those ports, or I need to block the user. I need to, if let's say a user is trying his password more than 5 times, it means that user is not the legit user. So what I need to do is I need to lock that user. I need to disable that user. Or what I can do is if let's say hundreds of requests is coming from a certain IP address, what I have to do is I need to have a rate limiting in my sales. So that kind of response. So what I'm responding to. So this is more kind of incident management, analysis, and response mitigation. The last part is the recovery part. Let's say damage is done. Someone has attacked to you. What do you need? You have to have some recovery plan, so that you can again recover and get back to your old state and maintain your business, because you can't assure that everything is according to your plan. So there is the recovery part. If something bad happens, you should have some of the recovery plans. So this is all about the 6 functions that we have discussed. So let's check. This 6 functions is extended to multiple stages. So this is the pyramid. Too much, right? Okay. So this 6 function is divided into 22 categories, then further it to 106 subcategories and 363 examples. This isn't just an overview, and you can see everything what I have discussed is written as a category. And what I will tell as a sentence, it is written as a subcategory. What the examples I'm giving, it's in the implementation example. So in the last year itself, the implementation examples is introduced. And you can check on the NIST website. You can go and Google NIST CSF implementation example. So you can see like this. And there's a lots of documents. So you can see there is a function, then there is a category, subcategory, and the implementation example. So why implementation example is being introduced? It's more kind of, let's say you are a person and you took a session today and you went to home, and then you have to explore. But while reading the subcategories or categories, you don't know what to do because you don't understand the words, you don't understand the terminology. So you need to have some kind of example understanding to understand, okay, I don't know what to do but with this sentence. Can you give me some examples? So you can see each category have multiple examples. So 363 examples has been given in a simplified language. So every individual can understand this framework in a very easy way, right? So this is the tools and technology summary that we can check. This is the most important thing for today. The reason is we have identified the risk, we have analyzed them, and we have been prepared the protection strategies. We have defended them, and we have detected, we have responded, we have recovery. But what tools I do? Where are the tools? Or what tools and what I can use, how to use them? So here are multiple tools. Each are mapped to the functions, respective function. So let's go through one by one. The first is the govern. So you can have a GRC platform or supply chain management or a policy management system. What do you mean by this? This is more kind of you analyzed what all kind of software that I will purchase or the third parties, or what kind of organization context I have, what is the mission of my organization, what is the risk of tolerance that I can have, I can bear as well, and what roles and responsibilities that I've created. So where you have to write down somewhere, right? So these are the tools where you can write down them all, you can manage them all. At a later stage, you want to change, then you can manipulate them. So these tools will help you in a better, you can't do everything in the spreadsheet, right? On the Google Sheet, you can't do anything. So you have to have some better tools to analyze them. So these are the tools here. And the second category is identify. So how will you identify what all assets in your organization have? So because we are here, and I believe lots of people are from organization, you even don't know what all kind of asset do you have. You even don't know how many EC2 machines are being created for what reason. So you need to first identify each and every endpoint or each and every asset, what is being used for, why it is there, can I delete this, can I remove the access. So all kind of these. So first you need to identify, right? So you can have the scanner tools, the Nessus or OpenBAS. So these tools, you can scan your organization context, or you can have something place, and then you can have it in scanning. So it will interact like I go to first device and I will check that this device is integrating with multiple devices, then I will scan. So this is scanning tool do in a tree-like structure, and they scan all of your assets, the most of assets, because not all assets are interlinked. Then you can have an inventory tools where you can list all of them, and you can check, okay, this tool, this EC2 machine is assigned to this person, and this is created for this reason, and this will be deleted at this particular time. So you can manage them. You can have the Nmap or Qualys tools that you can implement in your organization. The third is the protect category, which miniOrange is operating as well. So miniOrange is more in this domain, the protect domain. Okay. So you will see all the booths there outside. They all have these tools, and it's more kind of access management that I have told you. So access management can be identity access management or a privilege access management. So both booths are there. You can visit there and have lots of questions and have engagement, see their products, see their functionalities, and you can have the CASB as well. I think it's discussed in the last sessions that there are multiple tools, DLP, CASB, MDM, that you can use to protect yourself among the threats that are there in the market. So till the first function, we have identified, or we have governed the things what we will do. And the second and third, it's more kind of securing yourself or protecting yourself. And the last thing is doing the further future, or doing for what we don't know. Okay. So it's a detect. So everybody who is here, I believe you have somewhere heard about the SIEM tool, security event management tool. security information and event management tool. So the last session was on the endpoint detection. So EDR, endpoint detection and response. So that's just a one part of this whole framework. So you can say that the scope of this framework is too vast. So to understand this scope of this framework, you have to go through the whole 363 examples to understand what is going on in this cybersecurity space, and how these frameworks tell you to prevent yourself against the evolving threats in today's modern era. So the same tool can cover all the EDR. It is for endpoint detection and response. NDR, network detection and response. The TI, it's a threat intelligence, and the ASM, it's attack surface management. So this is the same tool you will implement, kind of Splunk or Sumo Logic, whatever you want to implement. So this will cover all of these threats or that is there. And then at last you can have a log management system, and then ELK stack or some Grafana, Datadog, or some tools you can use for log management as well. Then once you have detected, you have to respond as well, right? There is a SOAR tool in the market, security orchestration and automation response. So you can implement the SOAR tool. I believe Splunk, it has its own SOAR tool, Splunk SOAR. If you can Google that, then you can download and test it. Then you have some incident response playbooks. So you can build your own playbooks by having incidents happening. So I need to respond according to this strategy. So you can build your own playbooks according to this, because every organization have different kind of strategies. Because see, protection is one kind of thing, but how I want to manage my risk. If something is coming to how do I manage? Because not everyone is concerning about the security. Some organizations have the highest security level, some has the medium, some has the low. So they have their own defensive strategies. So they can do in the incident playbooks. The last is the recover. When I told you that damage is done, you need to do something. So you can have disaster recovery as a service. That will what it will do after the incident is happened. Then you can use the service to bring your data back and your business up and running. Because you have the damage is done, you need to inform all the employees or all the C-levels of your organization, along with the entities or the companies that are working with you. So let's say if damage is done on the Amazon, so Amazon need to tell the users that okay, this has happened, and we are backing up, because you need to have an effective communication in the recovery as well. That's too much, but you don't need to have in place. So you can have a bare minimum. So you can, because see, reading framework, having a compliance is a good, but how you can start? You can't start with going through from scratch and doing everything. So you need to prioritize and do the minimum viable security. That is a minimum MVS, we can say. So you can start with email protection. You can have an endpoint protection. You can implement MFA. You can implement access management in the first place. And then on the go, you explore the tools and then spend your money. Because you have to do business, right? You are not here to I am cyber security compliant and I am I'm fully defensive, but I don't have a business strategy, because I have all invested my money in these tools. So you have to prioritize them, invest in one by one, get the business, and then invest in the security. As you grow, you can explore, or as you grow in the business, you can invest chunks of money in these tools. So the framework is almost done. So let's have some key takeaways. So what are the key takeaways? So these are the key takeaways. So you need to first identify your risk, that we have discussed a lot of times, and then implement governance policies and assign clearer roles in your organization. You can start with the NIST CSF and focus on identity protect and implement IAM MFA. Then on the longer go, you can implement DLP, CASB, all the tools. And also that I have stated that all of our bots having this kind of functionality in the protect category. So you can explore our bots for knowing more about this category. Develop incident response and recovery plans. So you need to have backup. So I just want to add on this point. So in the protect stage, you need to implement one more thing, that is a backup. So let's say you have implemented access management, you have implemented multi-factor authentication, you have protected everything. But at the recovery stage, you have to recover yourself, right? So how do you recover? You have to take a backup somewhere, right? So you have to take the backup in the protect category. So once you have taken the backup, now you can regain the backup in the recovery stage where your system is totally crashed. And while recovering the backup, you need to check the integrity of the data or the integrity of the backup, because while the incident is happening, the data may be tampered. So first analyze that the data that you are recovering is the more kind of secure or more kind of integrity I have. You can use modern tools like SIM, SOAR, and recovery backup solution. And what you need to do is you need to continuously test and refine your cybersecurity plans. You need to conduct regular trainings and audits, because not every person is that aware that I need to be cyber defensive. Because in an organization, some person say I'm a front end guy. Why security matters to me? But he is the endpoint and he is the vulnerability to your organization, because losing his credentials or losing his identity make your product down, because they have some access, right, in the organization, because they have come to the organization, they've been assigned some roles and responsibilities, but because they don't think of cybersecurity, because they think their job role is more kind of UI, UX, but they have some capabilities. So if someone have stolen the capabilities of there and perform some actions, then it's going to be a disaster for your organization. You need to educate your team about the common threats, all kind of vulnerabilities and social engineering, phishing kind of things. Because let's say if your company, an employee of a company got an email from the CEO and saying, okay, it's a Christmas day and we need to circulate the, I can say gift card, Amazon gift cards. So can you please buy 1 lakh rupees of Amazon gift cards? So you think that, okay, CEO is messaging me, but you're not checking the email address, because the email address might have some spelling mistake, or the domain has been changed in such a way that you will not get, because this is kind of a social engineering. They are playing with your psychological mind. So they will send you an email and you understand, okay, CEO is messaging me, I am a new employee of this company, I have to do this. What I will do, I'll purchase the 1 lakh of Amazon gift card and I will send them. What is done? You lose your 1 lakh rupees, because it's not going to CEO or it's not going to the company. It is being stolen by some hacker. So you need to educate your team members as well in that way. It's easy, right? See it, manage it, secure it. It's just a common sense. Thank you. Stay ahead of hackers, be the defenders. As an homework, you can go to your home and download the NIST CSF 2.0 implementation example. And then you can go through each and every individual examples that matters to your organization. And there are multiple things in the CSF as well. That is, they have created some profiles where you can analyze your current profile and that target profiles. So in the current profiles, what you can do, you can choose what security do you have right now and what do you want to achieve. So according to that, they have a tool, they have a UI tool. They will give you some insights on that so that you can start with those points and then later on you can explore. So do you have any questions, Hoa?
So, on the IT, it is said that so it options there with content ending up in let's suppose I identified an incident. No, I think myself. Okay, so then suppose let's use that is okay, so okay.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay, so let's suppose we identified an incident with particular machine or server, right? The best option is to remove it from the disconnect from the network, right? At which stage?
It's in the response. So you have identified in the deck. So let me move to that slide. Okay. So you have identified in the very first place, you have analyzed the risks. You have not taken that what is not being See, you know what you know in the first stage, the identify. But in the detect stage, the points are the hacking points, or I can say vulnerabilities that are, or incident that is happening in this stage, you don't know about them. So you kind of being some rules. Okay, if I got attacked, then I create at this point create a rule, firewall rule. Let's say so these kind of SIEM tools or SOAR tools will help you in identifying and automatic orchestration. So they will automatically detect and respond. So these tools are very useful to that.
Okay, practically, you will not disconnect the server comment, right? If the server is impacted with this, it's a backend. I don't want to spread it.
Correct.
How I can content it? I mean, SIEM will just send me an alert, right?
So SOAR is the right tool. So that is in the respond category.
Okay.
So it will it will detach your device from the network, or do some apply some firewall rules, or do some patch management or something like that. That's a SOAR, security orchestration and automatic response. So that is responding to it and doing some actions on it. So it will detach that.
SOAR will contain it. I mean, disconnect the SIEM.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Next question is about phishing and user awareness training, right?
Correct.
Which tool you will recommend to get the organization trained for phishing kind of attacks?
So there's no tool that you can use to like train. It's more kind of training sessions that you can take from our organization. So there are lots of companies who are doing training sessions only. So there, and just like this is event, miniOrange, right? This is a cybersecurity event. You came here to understand all the vulnerabilities. You are getting into the training of what can be done. These kind of trainings that you can give to your employees. There's no tool that I can say that this tool will give your employer training. So you have to explore that.
So in my organization, we use KnowBefore.
Yeah. So
KnowBefore is...
I know KnowBefore. They are an organization and they are training.
Yeah. So they simulate. I mean, they'll send the email the way you said CEO will ask for get that, right? And people will get that email. They simulate if someone is failing, he will get trained again. Right?
They have some games kind of thing. They do it is like,
and so many other things are there, but people don't follow it. I mean, my team, I'm a DevSecOps manager. I don't like it. So I was thinking the better solution for KnowBefore kind of thing, because user awareness is the most important.
Correct. User awareness is top-notch thing. So you have.
Is there any? So you said there is no other tool than.
I don't think that tools are made to do this. It's more kind of awareness, or you have to train in them. That's not a thing.
People don't like it. Sorry. All right. One last question. You said so many tools are there. So we use SIEM, we use Alert Logic for monitoring all the servers and application and everything. Okay. Cyber Reason we use for detecting threats and other vulnerabilities. So if I turn on my mobile, I'll get at least one alert. Okay. If I'm working on Monday, I'll get so many alerts, right? And it's really difficult to prioritize, and same goes with my team as well, right? So there should be, I'm looking for a solution that will help to minimize this kind of overhead. So many things we are monitoring. You see that so many tools are, you already mentioned,
Yeah, correct.
We are using more than that. But at the end of the day, I need to fix the issue, right? And from everywhere, I'm getting the issues, right?
Yeah.
So we want to find out the better solution that will really prioritize, ignore the false positive. For example, SIEM continuously monitoring, right? Sending the logs all the time. That may be not relevant when incident will happen, right? In root cause analysis, it will help. But it is sending an alert, right? And which is not relevant. And I'm not concentrating on the priority issue. So what is the better solution to fix this scenario?
So you can have a segregation of duties. You can have a person who is dedicated to this team and who is looking into it. You can apply a better filtration, or you can do you can apply better filter to have a better notification in your system. And there is a Gartner G20 Capterra. You can talk to them and see all kind of solutions that are in the market. You can take the demo of them. And it's not kind of thing that, okay, I'm creating a cyber defense strategies, but I'll not receive this kind of notifications, because this is how it works, right? So you will get those knowledge, you will get the mail. Let's say if someday I received an email about the Datadog, it is saying that 504 is coming. So that's how I came to know, right? Otherwise, I will not being there to check the email, right? So if notification is there, then then only I will open it. So it should be there, right?
But the problem is so many.
So then you have to choose a better tool. Look for other alternatives that in the market that are more efficient.
Okay, got it.
Anyone? So feedback is important. So you can scan this QR code and give me feedback.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, sir. Like I'm a new in this field in cybersec, so I have some questions. Like the modern, like as you talk about modern defense, so modern should also should AI or the CF one two like one.
So CI is a thread. It's not a framework. So there are multiple threads. I showed you the one, the risk and the asset vulnerability and the threats, right? That's a sort of triad. But you can't. There's a triad. This is a framework. So framework is an extension of all the compliances. So once you have completed the CSF implemented in your organization or in your life, then you can see that most of the compliance you have completed the 80-90% of it. So you have to have some frameworks or a structure to follow that. I believe CSF is the one that is the for in general purpose, not for a specific any kind of thing. So you can follow the CSF.
Can you please put more light on supply chain attacks?
So supply chain attacks. So I have told you that Log4j or CrowdStrike. Have you heard about them?
CrowdStrike, I have.
Yeah. So CrowdStrike has a vulnerability a few days before. So what happened? Because CrowdStrike was impacted or vulnerable, so many businesses were down, or so many businesses were affected. They are not even the users are not even can't log into the system or can't do anything because it is being impacted. It is not openly. So those kind of things can happen in the supply chain attacks because it's not your fault, but because you are using them, then you have to suffer that.
Because of one person's fault,
Not one person, it is one organization, I can say.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to do a better governance, analyze the better tools only the trusted ones.
Thank you.
Okay. Scan this QR code and give me a feedback. Have a good day.